Hey, I'm Matt Hudgens, and he's Dave Mulvaney, and this is Profitability MD. Dave, how you doing today, buddy?
And I'm doing great. How are you?
I am good. You know, it's that weird weather where we start off cold in the morning. You're still dressed in your morning outfit. We're up to 58 or something. Warming up in the afternoon.
It was 36 when I left the house this morning, and it's Jacksonville, Florida, so that's cold to me.
Yeah.
But it's still in the 60s now. But I've got the air blowing in the building just so I don't get too hot. So
yeah, that's perfect. That's right. All right. So episode 103, the three things needed to be successful in business. The three things needed to be successful in business. And this has kind of come up of a couple conversations I've had over the last week and kind of just morphed it into the three things needed to be successful in business. Obviously, there's a lot more yada, yada, yadas. But this was almost simplified for me by one of my clients, which I thought was just interesting, right? And so you could start off and say, I was going to look for some of the wording, but basically it's going to be, when you're trying to do something and take your business to the next level, right? If you're a landscaper, you're a therapist, you're a home builder, you're a lawyer, you're trying to take it to the next level, right? The first thing you got to be is committed, right? Committed. We've talked about committing, deciding, making the decision to, that's where you're going to take it as the next level, right?
there's that old expression about breakfast, right? Okay, the chicken's involved, but the pig isn't committed. So
I like that. That's perfect. And it's like, what is the other one? Like, if you don't plan for success, you'll just end up, if you don't plan your trip, you'll end up in a dead end road or something like that. So committing, planning, however you want to say that. I like the word committing. You got to commit.
Committing is, it means you're in. When you make a decision and you commit to it, the decision is, okay, we're going to get to the other two steps, but you make the decision, you jump in with both feet. That's it. I'm doing this. It's the decision.
We got great examples. All right, so we'd say the first thing you need is commitment, right? So the first thing you got to have is commit. You've decided you're going to do it. Commit means you've decided. So step number 2 would be you need a roadmap. You need a guide, a roadmap, a course of action, a strategy to follow. So I just call it a roadmap. You need a roadmap, right? How am I going to get there, right?
And I
can't just wander around the woods.
I think that's an area, Matt, where people often kind of put it to, especially experienced entrepreneurs. They say, I can make my own roadmap. And maybe the roadmap you created in your last enterprise worked for that enterprise. But then now the world is different today. Even in 2020, the world is different. So having other people involved, helping you create the roadmap, I think is not all roadmaps are the same for every entrepreneur.
Well, I'll even back up and say, I don't think they even have a roadmap. They just get out there and start hustling, right? You're a landscaper and you just start hustling. Industrial lighting and you're selling lights, you're just hustling. You're a home builder, you're just hustling. You're remodeling, you're just hustling. That's not really a roadmap. You're just kind of doing whatever you can, running in the rat race, right? You may not even, and I think most entrepreneurs don't really have a roadmap. That's kind of how they started the business. Hey, it's just what I do. I started selling a bunch of things and it took off. So we'll come back and fill in some details. So number 3, commit. Number 1, commit. Number 2 would be a roadmap. And number 3 would be a support system, right? We can't do this on our own. Nobody can do this on our own, right? Tom Brady has a health nutrition coach. Obviously, he's got a football coach. He's got a throwing coach. He's got a workout coach, right? Talking about the great Tiger Woods has been through several coaches, right? Michael Jordan, several coaches, right? A workout coach, the health coach. I forget who's LeBron James, several coaches, right? So successful athletes, musicians, entertainers, they all have a support system, coaches, mentors to help them along the journey, right? Bounce ideas off of them.
And one of the things about that is, consider this. Tiger Woods has had 7 or 8 coaches. Butch Harmon was one of them for a long time. That was his longtime coach. But here's the thing. Tiger's coaches were not better golfers than Tiger. But they made Tiger better because they understood the game so well. And sometimes I think it's important to get a grasp on that. You're not going to have any basketball coaches that are as good as LeBron James.
Right.
Unless Michael Jordan decides to get into coaching basketball. But see, that's the thing. Sometimes a Michael Jordan, the reason he's not a coach is because maybe he wouldn't make as good of a coach.
Right.
He's a great player, one of the best. If he's not the best, then he's one of the best. But he may not make the best coach. And I think a lot of you see this happen in car dealerships a lot. Okay, I mean, I'm going on a slight tangent.
Yeah, you're going on a tangent. I was going to come back to it, but okay.
But I just wanted to get this point out. Car dealerships do this all the time. They take a great salesperson and they make them a manager.
Right.
It's not always the case. So you need a support system in place that is not always somebody who does the same thing as you. The support system is better if it's not the exact same position or same type of thing because they see things differently. So I just wanted
that's a great point of view. Now, what I would say would be, so if you have a roadmap that somebody's done it, a roadmap, and you got a support system, then how committed are you to growing your business? I mean, you should be fired up. If you've got the roadmap, here's a roadmap. Here's how to get $1 million business. Here's how to make $1 million. Here's the roadmap. Here's a support system. We've done this. We've had people that done this. Here's how they do that. And then if you know that, how confident are you? How much clarity do you have? How committed can you be if you know you got the roadmap and the support system? So what I say about this is going back to the business owners, I think most of them are wandering around aimlessly, trying different tactics. And so the great analogy I heard, this was on a webinar earlier today, actually, I forget who said this, was, all right, of course you're struggling. You're a business owner, and of course you're struggling. Because you don't have the roadmap, you're not committed, you don't have the support system. And so the analogy was, imagine that I just dropped you off in the junkyard and I said, hey, go build a car, right? Go, all the parts are there. You're in the junkyard, they're all there, but you got no idea how to start, how to do it, I don't know how to build a car, but I'm in the junkyard, all the right pieces are there, right? So as entrepreneurs and business owners, all the information's there. We can Google it. We can YouTube it. We can ask our other business owner friends. But we're in the middle of the junkyard and we're just clueless. So of course you're struggling.
You got to pause on that for a second because you brought up two things. You can YouTube it. You can Google it. And what you don't realize, in many cases, is you're watching a video of some guru who's actually they don't even know what they're doing. But they're out there claiming that they're the guru, but really not everybody's a guru. And so how do you know? You can certainly go by, all right, how long have they been the person who I'm seeking support from? It's like, if you want to advice on your marriage, I highly recommend you go to somebody who's been married about 30 years, 20 to 30 years.
Let's don't go talk to your divorced friends. That's one of our jokes is when your wife starts hanging out with divorced women, your marriage is in trouble, right? That means your wife is hanging out with divorced women because she's looking for advice on how to go through a divorce, right?
Yeah.
So we talk about that's one of our jokes around, my buddies right now. She's hanging out with so-and-so, their marriage is in trouble, right? But we'll talk about that would be, so if you're struggling, which most people are, it is one of those three things is missing. So let's say you were going to run a marathon, half marathon. I used to run half marathons. I never ran a marathon, but half marathons, right? I'm going to commit to running the half marathon. Usually it's Thanksgiving, or it's usually I'll run in March. I usually run it kind of twice a year. You got to commit to it, right? I got to commit and say, hey, I'm going to run the half marathon in LA. I used to run this one in LA, like in, I think it was March, right? You got to make that commitment now. Now I need a roadmap. I can't just stumble my way through it or watch a couple YouTube videos on how to run a half marathon, right? I need a roadmap that says, here's how many miles you run a day. Here's how many days on and days off. This is your long runs, like typically. So I run these things, right? It's typically you run 3 miles during the week and then you have a longer run, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, working it up. But during the week, you only have to run these 3, 4, 5 mile runs, right? But it's a roadmap, right? And then a support system is great. Usually I'll run it with a buddy, or usually I'll join a running club. There's a track club that meets right up here at the strip center, and they all run their afternoon runs together, or their Saturday long runs. We all run our own thing during the week, and then our Saturday long runs, we meet in the morning and run it together, right? That's a support system, right? So that would be a great way to run a half marathon. Commit to doing it, put a date, put it on the calendar, get a roadmap, right? Who's got a running course, right? And then a support system. Who's my group or my friends are going to help me, hold me accountable, that are going to, run with me, support me, encourage each other, right? That's a great example of, that's a great way to be successful at running the half marathon.
Yeah,
right?
and of course if you're going to run a half marathon, your commitment has to be there, but you also have to, you can't say I'm going to run a half marathon in 60 days if you're not a runner.
Right.
So you've got to, and your support system would tell you that.
There's a strategy for that though, right? So there's something that goes from couch potato to marathon runner. Somebody's done that, and you're going to be able to find that roadmap out there. And it's going to be like you first start walking, and then you start walking and running, and then you start running, right? There is a roadmap that gets you from couch potato to marathon. Now I don't know if it's a month. It's probably more like 6 months, right?
Yeah.
They have that. We have the Peachtree here in Atlanta, and that's I think 6 miles. And so they always have that somewhere in. I think you got to sign up kind of pretty early, April. And it's like couch potato to run in the 10K.
So Matt, I started running in 2018. Actually, yeah, it was 2018. And actually I started walking, and it was, a 20-minute walk. I'd walk 20 minutes one way and back.
Yeah.
Well, I'm at about 535 miles this year, because I set out a goal, and I've said it on the show. I set a goal to run 520 miles this year.
Yeah,
well,
I remember that.
I accomplished that by November. So, and now I'm at like 535. I'm not going to bust my butt anymore through December because I hit my goal, but I'm still moving. But the point is, I made a commitment. I needed a roadmap, and the roadmap was basically, I knew how many miles I had to run every week. And I'm going to bring this into what it means to business. And the support system, I used a couple of apps on my phone and just stayed motivated. Partially watching my weight was keeping me motivated.
Right.
But if you want to take your business to $1 million, well, it's the same scenario. It's I'm going to do this. You lay out your commitment, and then you seek the roadmap and you seek the support system. Right. If you have the commitment, the rest can happen.
Right, and this is a great. We'll just continue down this road, right? So you wouldn't just ask, how do I run the half marathon in under 2 hours, right? Your support system will say, whoa, how much are you running in a week, right? This goes back to, you don't know what you don't know, right? So a lot of times business owners ask for one thing and they're not ready. So you could, an example might be, you're asking for a Facebook funnel. You're asking for, I need more leads. I'm asking for, I need more at-bats. But maybe you're not even selling a profitable product, right? Or maybe you really can't handle 10 more clients next week, right? Or vice versa. Maybe, you really do need leads. You think you got this great business humming along, but truthfully, you're only at 75% capacity. I was working with one of my dentists, right? And so we actually did that analysis, and he was debating to open another office or keep this one. I'm always of the opinion of one at a time, right? And so we run the analysis and say, look, there's still 30% capacity potential in your existing business. We should maximize this one before we even talk about a second location, right? Not only that second location brings its own headache, higher expenses, more staff, 2 different locations to manage, right? This 30% is almost pure profit. In a dental practice, they have lab expenses about 10 or 12%. But literally that 30% would be almost pure profit because you have your staff already paid. They're already here, right? So that would be, they don't know what they don't know. He's sitting there asking me about, what do you think about this as a location to offer a second branch? And I am, whoa, let's back it up. Are we sure it's time to open a second branch? Let's take a look at this practice.
And the way you said it is, whoa, you recognized it because you're outside of the situation. And Grant Cardone says it this way: if you ain't growing, meaning if you're not creating problems, then you're not growing. Now, that's where the support system is so critical, because that dentist could have made a decision that would have could have potentially cost him money because he's not maxed out. If you're not maxed out to your maximum dollar you can bring doing what you're doing, why try to grow outside in an area that you're just going to increase your overhead? And that could be a big problem. That's why, again, support system is just as important to help you implement your roadmap.
Right. And we've talked about this before. IT, I have 2 IT guys. One came to me and he is all in Atlanta and he has 3 different niches. So he maxes out this niche and then he moves on to the next niche. Another IT guy came to me and he was opening a remote office in different cities and in different states. And now all of a sudden he's got 6 or 7 different offices, right? Which one do you think is more profitable and has less headaches? The guy that's centrally located that took the one niche and went deep here in Atlanta in that one niche. And then he did the second niche because there's only one location. There's only a certain amount of people. They're all centrally located, right? Versus you got to go to Chattanooga, you got to go to Birmingham, you got to go to Columbus, Georgia, you got to go to Jacksonville, right? Charleston. That just sounds messy. That gives me a headache just thinking about it, right? But he didn't know what to know. He was just chasing the business. There's a XYZ who would love your services in Birmingham. Great. I'll set up shop over there and then I'll try to get some more guys in Birmingham to work.
Yeah, there's an expression in high ticket sales. It's also used in network marketing too. They say always go deep. Go deep before you go wide. Because what does it really mean if you take it out of the network marketing scenario? What it means is you want to go with a customer and maximize the value you provide for them, so they're spending the maximum dollar with you before you go get another customer.
Right. That's the number 3 in our 5-step profit formula, right? More leads, more conversions, more transactions. We call that in the investment world, get more wallet share.
Yeah.
Retail calls it, a higher per ticket, right? You and I would call it a lifetime value of the customer, right? That we might just need to maximize. What else can we sell? You and I talk about joint ventures all the time. What else can we sell to our existing clients? What else can we offer to our existing clients? Might be a different product or service that we joint venture with, vice versa. Again, these are in the roadmaps, right? So the roadmaps are, we got to attract, deliver, and then scale and service, right? Those are the things we've talked about in this pack: attract, deliver, scale, and service. So if you don't know what you're delivering or how you're going to deliver your product or service, or if it's efficient, gosh, more clients would just drown you, right? If you're looking for a Facebook funnel, I'm not even sure that's the right way to do it. Are you maximizing your word of mouth and center of influence, right? So you don't know what you don't know. You're asking for, who was that? It was in this, anyway, you're asking for the wrong thing, right? Like I said, I need to get a new driver, right? A golfer, you need to get a new driver. Yeah, well, what's your short game like, right? So golf coaches know that it's some stat like 50% of your strokes are within 100 yards or less. The quickest way to lower somebody's handicap is teach them to chip and putt, right? Because you teach them to chip and putt, that's 50%. If you decrease that by 10, 20%, it automatically drops your handicap. Hitting your driver an extra 10 yards doesn't do squat, right?
No.
Right? Or vice versa. Why would I get you a new driver? Your swing sucks. That's the same as the Indian or the arrow. Most of the time it's the Indian can't swing the club, whether it's a new club or an old club. Let's fix your swing, right? So that's another thing a golf coach might do. But this is what they face all the time. Like, hey, help me hit the driver further. Hey, help me hit it more accurately, right? Hey, I want to lower my handicap. Well, the quickest way to lower your handicap is chipping, putting, and bunkers. Let's go spend 30 minutes. But how do we warm up as golfers? Hit the driver, right? And we spend 0 time on chipping and putting in the short game. If you're really serious about lowering your handicap, you would spend 50 to 75% of your time on the short game and only 10 minutes on the driver.
And it's so true. But don't tell that to TaylorMade or Ping. Because they want you to buy new clubs. Because
they're setting a hot button. Your hot button is, I need to hit it further, right? But in reality, what you really want to be is a better golfer, right? What you really want to be is to, break 80 and play golf with your friends and have fun. Break 90, break 100 and have fun with your buddies. That's what you really want, but that's not what you say. You say, I need to hit it further. I need to hit it more consistently, right? That's what they say. That's not what they need, right? Yeah. The coach could go in there and say, look, if you want to break 80, you want to break 90, here's what you do. Boom, boom, boom. We start short game first and we work backwards up to the long game. We switch our practice. anyway, that's a great analogy for the business owners, right? You're asking for the Facebook funnel. I was talking to a ClickFunnels expert the other day, Monday, I guess it was. I don't know what day it is today, Monday. And he's like, dude, they come to me all the time asking for a ClickFunnels, can you build me a funnel using Click? And he's like, that's not what you need, man. You don't even know what as you and I would say, your market dominated position is. You don't even know who your target market is.
Yeah.
Right? Those are steps that we talk about, right? You got to identify your target market dominated position. Then we start making the irresistible offer and attracting the clients, right? You don't know what you don't know. They're asking for like the 4th step out of 9 steps.
And that's why startups are so hard, because in many cases, just because you think you know who your target market is, doesn't necessarily mean that will be your target market down the road. Because what happens is you realize, oh, this would be a great product for XYZ. And yes, it might be, but then you find out the flaws of that thought process. I have a friend who's going through this right now. He has a very successful, over $1 million a year company. But his target market, he's got this great secondary course, very expensive secondary course, over 15 grand a year. But the market that he created the first course for, the people don't want to move into that. Now, he wouldn't know that unless he has some support around him. And so there are changes you make in your roadmap. So you're committed to this thing, and then you got this roadmap, then the support is where sometimes that's where you're tweaking the roadmap. The commitment never changes.
Correct.
But the roadmap changes. The tools used, the different things you apply change. But
it's funny you say that. Yes. So this just reminds you, literally, we're one of the gurus that we follow sometime. John Nemo, LinkedIn Riches, give him all his full creds, right? So he's LinkedIn Riches, how to get business using LinkedIn, right? And that's his core product. So he tried to make a second product, which was called something like content marketing, that's posting on your LinkedIn profile and posting on blogs to try to generate business. And like what you just said, it turns out his core audience didn't want that. What they wanted was get more sales from LinkedIn. And actually what they really wanted was a done for you service. Hey, you've kind of taught me how to do this and I know how it works now. Now I just want somebody else to do it for me, right? Somebody else to generate the leads or start the conversation. So he had to change his roadmap, and he did that because he's in a mastermind group, which was, hey, I thought this content marketing was what my crew would want. None of my existing clients are buying it, and nobody new wants to buy it because they don't know me. They know me from LinkedIn Riches. They want more LinkedIn Riches stuff. How do I make more money from LinkedIn? They don't want content marketing. They want done for you service, done with you service, go deeper, go wider with LinkedIn.
Because a lot of the people and I'm one of the people who bought his course.
I have to.
John Nemo is a Ray Edwards copywriter as well.
Oh, okay.
He was one of the early adapters. And so, in fact, John was just on Ray's show maybe a week or two ago. But anyway, that being said, he is a good content writer. I mean, he is. He's really good.
Yes.
But yet, his clients, the people he attracted, are everyday people doing business on LinkedIn.
Yep.
They don't want to be content writers. They want to be like I just want more customers.
I just want more customers.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens when you build a roadmap. A lot of times you have to really understand the clients you attract and that they can change over time.
Right. And I think that's what they mean by fail fast. You went down that road and you adjusted, right? But you need the support system to help you adjust, right? To give you confidence to adjust, to give you clarity to say it's okay, you messed up, right? Reminded me of, so Tony Robbins has his things the 3 things to be successful. He says it's strategy, story, and state, right? So if you're trying to lose weight, he always uses this example all the time, loses weight, right? There are all kinds of strategies. You can Google a diet plan. You could go on YouTube and a diet plan. You can sign up for Jenny Craig. You could sign up for, I don't know, Noom and OOM. That's another product, right? There are plenty of strategies out there, right? You and I know the basics of losing weight. Eat less, right? Exercise more. Like there's the strategy.
That's it, 100%. You can stop right there.
Right, whatever it is. Now the story he talks about is most of us tell ourselves the woe is me story, right? So it's woe is me, I'm big boned. Woe is me, I've always been overweight. Woe is me, I got bad ankles. Woe is me. So we have a bad story, right? And then the state is because we're telling ourselves these big boned and bad ankles and bad knees. And so now you're kind of, oh. And he says it's like the strategy everybody thinks is the most important because that's where everybody starts. They want a Facebook funnel, right? How do I lose weight? They Google it. They buy the P90X, right? Right? He says you got to have a good strategy. You got to have a good roadmap, right? But you got to have a great story, and even more importantly, in his mind, commitment in his mind is the state. So if he does this whole workout routine before he even gets on stage, right? Where he's breathing exercises and jumps on a trampoline and he gets himself all pumped up, right? Athletes do that before a game, right? They're not out there moping around the football field. Monday Night Football was on last night. They're not moping around the field. They got a little jam in their ears. They're rocking out. They're pumping themselves up for the game. They're working on their state, right? They're getting pumped up, right? Tennis players, right? You see tennis players, they're warming up with the headsets on the previous court. Any of these athletes, what are they doing? They're warming up, but really what they're doing is getting themselves in the right state, which is kind of a pumped up state. And the story is, I can do this. Other people have done this, right? So that's one of the biggest things that we always talk about. There's only 24 hours in the day, yet somehow there's somebody in your business making more money than you, right? He's probably got committed and a roadmap and a support system.
Yeah, the right? Commitment is the story. That's the story. He's telling himself, I'm doing this. That's the story. And when it's a commitment, it's the story is moved from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. You've told yourself, I'm doing it, and everything about your being believes it. And that's commitment. And
it's almost self-circular. So I had a conversation with a client the other day and a prospect that I was saying, look, I've got the roadmap and I've got the support system. If you know that, how committed can you be to achieving your goals, right? You're trying to make $15,000 a month. I just told you, I got the roadmap and I got the support system. Will that make you more committed to get going, right? Confidence, clarity, focus, right? Will that get you pumped up? Will that get you in an awesome state of mind? Well, heck yeah. If you got the roadmap and you've got the support system, yeah, I can do that. You just tell me what to do and when to do it. I can do that, right? I can be committed to that, Absolutely. Right? I always we've talked about this in the past. My best clients are not the ones that question me. I think it was Dan Sullivan who had this. You can tell the $100,000 guy from the $1 million guy. The $100,000 guy questions me every time. The $1 million guy does exactly what I said. Right? He's committed to do exactly what I say. Follow me. I've done it before. I got the roadmap. I got the support system. Just do what I'm telling you to do. And if it doesn't work, we'll adjust, right? The $100,000 guys, well, I don't know if my clients will do that. I don't know if they do referrals. I'm kind of nervous they wouldn't like that, yada, 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 right? Right? Because the story he's telling himself, right? Whatever you want to say, but he's not committed, right? So my best clients, your best clients are the ones that just do what we tell them to do, right? The ones that bang heads all the time. Those guys, I call it, can't even get out of their own way. I was talking to another, just can't even get it out of his own way, right? He's, well, what about this and this? And I'm like, do you know 90% of people, anyway, 90% of people in our business use this software? Why aren't you using this software? Well, I'm not sure it does exactly what I want to do. Well, it must do something right. Yeah. Right? It must do something right? It's got to be at least 90% good if 90% of the people in our industry are doing it, right? Yeah, and so it's almost like they can't get out of their own way. That's a true statement. And I know we're a little long, so we need to recap. But here's the thing. This is why we talk about our mastermind so often. Because, look, we have the roadmap. And if you don't have the roadmap, we'll help you. We can help you create the roadmap and supply the support system. But what we can't give you is the one other thing that you need, and that's the commitment. And so, like you said earlier, Matt, if you had the support system and the roadmap, what would that do to your state? That's why you need to be in a mastermind. And if not in our mastermind, in a good mastermind where you can be with like-minded individuals who can be part of the support, but also with the experience to recognize whether your roadmap is going to be right for you long-term.
It may be right now, and that's
that's what I would say. I would say, the three things you have to have. You have the commitment, the roadmap, and the support system. If you had a crystal clear roadmap, we have the roadmap, by the way, right? If you have a support group, that's what a mastermind group by definition is a support group. If you have the roadmap and the support group, how committed can you be to be successful? Whatever that is, 10,000 a month, 20,000 a month, $83,000 and $33 a month. That's $1 million a year.
$1 million
by the way.
a year. Yep.
You should know that, right? That if you got the roadmap and you got the support system, how committed can you be? That's the only missing ingredient. You got to be committed. So we create great examples about how do you run a marathon, how do you run a half marathon. You got to have commit, you got to have a strategy, a roadmap, you got to have a support system. I run with my runners club and that kind of stuff. So this is great stuff. Commit, roadmap, support system. This is what we do. This is what our mastermind is. This is what our coaching is, right? It is the roadmap. It is the support system. You just need your commitment, right? If you're interested in looking at our mastermind group, Matt at profitabilitymd.com, Dave at profitabilitymd.com. If this interests you, we'll do a little interview. If you fit, we fit. It's all good stuff. Check out some of our past episodes. We got a YouTube channel, Profitability MD, over there. We got our our podcast, Profitability MD. We got our website, profitabilitymd.com. So all good stuff, man. I love this stuff. This was a great day. Commitment, roadmap, and support system. That's all you need to be successful.
Awesome, Matt. Great show.
All right, buddy. Take it easy.
Take care. All right.
See you.